If you came to prove, there's no reason to prove.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And welcome to RTF Sports Talk. I'm the host of the show, Michael Buckcaster. I am joined today with Billy Hatton, as always, from Unpopular Opinion. Billy, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right. Still a little bit under the weather, but hey, it's time to talk some sports.
Hey, it is time to talk some sports, and I love it, man. If you guys are listening to us on YouTube right now, go ahead and give us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you would, please. And if you're listening to us on Stitcher, Breaker, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, etc., go ahead and give us a follow. And if you would, please go ahead and rank that podcast as well, preferably 5 stars. And if it's not 5 stars, go ahead and let us know why it's not 5 stars. But, Billy, let's go ahead and get into the show today. And the news of the week, I think, so far, has to be the Patriots signing of Josh Gordon. Do you think this is good for the Patriots, bad for the Patriots, or is it indifferent? What are your thoughts on it, Billy?
I think this is actually a really good situation for the Patriots. It's basically low risk, big reward for them. I hear that they gave the Browns a 5th round pick or something like that. But if he's not active on the roster, if he doesn't play at least 10 games this year, they can get back a 7th round pick or something like that. So, I mean, they really lose nothing, basically, the Patriots. That is, they cut Corey Coleman. I mean, I guess depends on how you feel about Corey Coleman. I don't think he's that good of a receiver. I don't think he's worked out in the NFL. So if you ask me, I think the Patriots definitely got off good on this deal. And I really don't understand why the Browns made this deal to the Patriots out of all teams. At least, trade them out of conference, at least, so you don't have to see this team. Kind of almost like, I guess, what the Cavaliers did, trading in conference with Kyrie Irving. It was stupid to me. I'm pretty sure that they probably could have from other teams, but for the Patriots, this works out perfect for them.
Yeah, and this trade right here kind of reminds me of the Randy Moss trade. It had to have been 6-7 years ago now. I mean, Randy Moss was really not sought after, like, after he played with the Titans for like that 4 or 5 games, I believe it was. Like, he didn't play for them for very long, and then like the next season he ended up on the Patriots, and then he had a record-setting year. I kind of feel like Josh Gordon is kind of set up to do the same way. The Patriot way. It's either follow us or get off the train, and the Patriots are making out like fat rats right now. I mean, this kind of does this echoes what the Browns organization has been the last 5 or 6, 7 years. I mean, this trade couldn't have been any more stupid on their part, to be honest.
Yeah, because to me, I just felt that there were other teams that, because the one thing we do know about the Patriots is they're not going to overpay for anybody.
Exactly.
So I'm pretty sure that they, according to the reports of Adam Schefter, there were at least 9 teams that wanted to trade for Josh Gordon. And they thought that the best situation that they can, that will put their team in a good mode is to send them to the Patriots for a 5th round pick.
Stupid.
Now, Yeah, I'm not saying they probably could have got more for him, but what I'm saying is there's other teams that probably would have paid more for him than what the Patriots are willing to pay for him. So me and Matthew was talking about this yesterday, and it's just we said he's either going to be Randy Moss or he's going to be Chad Johnson. Like there's no in between that's going to happen here. He's either going to get in line and him and Brady are going to do some magical things, or he's not going to. And I heard Randy Moss yesterday on the preview Monday Night Football. He said if he can learn the playbook because of Josh McDaniels' system, the sophisticated system that Josh McDaniels runs, if he can run Josh McDaniels' system, he's going to have a field day. But if not, he's going to be just like Chad Johnson. That's what I had said when I talked to Matthew. It's going to be either or, because the Patriots either going to get rid of him or they're going to throw a lot of balls his way. And it should help that whole team out. Gronk shouldn't be getting double teamed no more. Yeah. Edelman is coming back after week 4 from his suspension. He's the underneath guy. Gronk can do it all, and Josh Gordon can take the top off. So I honestly don't really see no holes in that Patriots offense except for a running back position. But when you got Tom Brady back there, he makes up for that lack of running back, especially when you add a talent like Josh Gordon.
And I'm going to echo what you just said there. I mean, they have a running back by committee. I think they got 3 running backs that they switch through per each game. But when you open up the passing game, like Josh Gordon has the capability of adding that dynamic to the team. You can put a second string Alabama tailback back there, and he'll do great. So I mean,
yeah, it does not matter. It does not matter who you put in there.
Yeah, and just to kind of rotate back to your point about maybe the Browns wouldn't have gotten anything higher than a 5th round pick, I have to highly disagree with you on that. Look what the 49ers gave for Jimmy G. That big contract.
That's true. They haven't even played a game, really.
Yeah, and I think because the 49ers, they kind of seemed like they were the front runners there for a few 3, 4, 5 hours, and then all of a sudden the Patriots like, nope, this is our guy. So like I wonder if there's some type of back end deal happening that maybe that it is not being reported. Like maybe they might trade draft picks in the next few years or something, because usually when things like this happen, there are some type of back end incentives, because I feel like the 49ers and the Cowboys would have probably given them maybe even a third or second round pick, to be totally honest. So for the Patriots to give a 5th round pick,
teams could have probably given a little bit more.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how it works, but I'm sure there's something going on.
It's funny because on Sunday when this first came out, Matthew texted me and he said Josh Gordon to the Patriots, and I was like, I'm gonna stop watching football if that happened. This is on Sunday. Here we are, Monday afternoon. I get the ESPN alert to my phone. The Patriots agreed to trade for Josh Gordon, and I'm like, there it is. This is the Bill Belichick way. We're going to get the people that you consider high risk, and we're going to turn them into players because we believe in our system. And Bill Belichick believes that as long as we can get him into our system, no matter what kind of player he is, as long as we can get him into our system for our price, then they're going to be something. And, more often than not, they're right. So, hey, we'll see how Josh Gordon is. I guarantee you Josh Gordon don't get in trouble anymore, Oh, I'm willing to bet that he's going to stay on the straight and narrow right now, especially when he knows, I think that was another thing with Josh Gordon is up in Cleveland, we wasn't winning in Cleveland. And when you're not winning, that makes everything all bad. You start doing stuff that you shouldn't do. When you're winning, exactly. You want to stay on that straight and narrow. You want to be in that culture. And he never had a quarterback that could sit him down and tell him to chill out. Like Tom Brady will. And I know Tom Brady will. He had Deshaun Kaiser and Jason Campbell and, Whedon and all these guys. These guys are not guys, franchise guys, or good enough to tell him, listen, you need to chill out. Tom Brady would do that.
So you keep saying that, or we've heard it time and time again. Bill Belichick gets his guys at the price he wants. In my recent thoughts, I don't ever remember seeing or hearing the Patriots not getting their guy. Like, if they pursue a person, they're getting that person. Like, probably I don't ever remember hearing about them missing out on a free agent or a pickup like Josh Gordon. Why do you think that is? Like, what is Kraft and Belichick and those guys doing to negotiate with these teams to get these players? Like, what do you think, like, the magic is over there?
Well, to start off, it's basically what I just talked about. They win, and who don't want to win? That's why you play the game.
Exactly.
You play the game to win championships. And if their first selling point is, hey, unlike the Cowboys, where, hey, we winners over here within the recent few memory that you can recall of, and not back when you were, 5 years old or 6 years old, they're selling winning, and they're selling winning right now. Every year in and year out, the Patriots are either in the AFC championship or in the Super Bowl. Like, that's
right.
How it's been. So if they can sell to anybody, listen, it's tough over here, and players talk, they talk to each other about how the culture is. So, you can kind of decide whether or not you want to do that or you not want to do that. But I guarantee you, when they say, hey, listen, man, and they lay them championships out, and they roll those AFC division titles out and all that stuff, that's what makes people want to go regardless. And you're willing to take a pay cut, in order to win. You've seen LeBron, D-Wade, and Chris Bosh do it to all come together. We're going to take a pay cut. You see the Warriors doing it. We're going to take a pay cut for the good of the group. What did DeMarcus Cousins do? He could have signed a better deal than one year, $5 million. But what did he do? He signed that $5 million because he knows if we're not going to win the championship, we're going to be damn close to winning it.
Just
so
win, baby, win.
Winning, that's how they sell it.
Win,
yeah,
baby,
that's how
win.
they sell it.
So, speaking of not winning right now, Pittsburgh Steelers, Antonio Brown. What in the world is going on over there? Billy, what are your thoughts on this, man?
It's getting really bad, and that's why, if you remember week one when we were picking week one, I picked the Browns to win, and it wasn't because I thought that they were better or just because they were my team. I thought because what is going on now was going to start happening in week one, and it kind of happened. They still should have lost that game. The Browns was +5 turnover, and we end up tying the game. Kicker missed the field goal at the end. So if we're really being honest with ourselves right now. The Steelers are 0-2, and I wonder how that James Conner thing is really working out in week 2. I think he only had like 20-something yards rushing on the ground. So these people who thought that he was going to be Le'Veon Bell in the offensive line and doing all that other stuff, doing all that chirping and all that talking and Big Ben, how is that working out for you now? Exactly. And then, Antonio Brown is upset now because he's not getting the football. And I kind of understand him. It's like, we don't have Le'Veon here, taking away some of my receptions, which he didn't mind because him and Le'Veon obviously have a good relationship.
Right.
He's thinking, we don't have Le'Veon here, and you still can't get me the football. Like, and then, on Twitter, one of their personnel directors, a former personnel director, he's saying that Big Ben made Antonio Brown and nobody would know who he is without him, and Antonio Brown said, trade me and find out. And that's the ripple effect of not signing Le'Veon Bell. He was already mad that Le'Veon Bell wasn't signed. He is the only Steeler that came out during this whole Le'Veon saga showing support for Le'Veon Bell. Everybody else wanted to trash him. His offensive line saying that we made you, Big Ben saying, "Oh, well, he's just a me guy. You know, he don't care about the team." And Antonio Brown was the only guy that came out and tweeted a picture and said, "We here whenever you come back." You know, so I think it's that ripple effect, and it's like you said, it's the opposite of what we just talked about. They're losing.
Yep.
They 0-1 with a 1 tie, but that tie feels like a loss because it's division. You know, it was within their division. And
it's to the
within your
Browns.
division, it's almost like a loss. Yeah, and it's to the Browns, you know. That's almost like a loss when a lot of people were picking them to win that division, including me, picking them to win that division and meet the Patriots in the AFC Championship. So right now, that organization is a mess. We all know that Antonio Brown had his little spat with them during his contract negotiation and his situation. So listen, don't look now, but it could definitely get worse, way worse before it get better.
So let me ask you this, Billy. Le'Veon Bell has to report by week 6, I do believe, to get paid or to be a free agent, right?
Week 11.
Oh,
he has to report by week 11. Yeah.
Okay. So let's say he does not report till week 10, week 11. Do you think Antonio Brown is gone by that point?
Nah, because it's a little bit harder to move guys in the NFL. But I do think if they do put him on the market, there will be a lot of teams available lining up to get his services. That's for sure. And that's exactly what he meant when he said what he said on Twitter. Trade me and find out to see if Big Ben made me. You know, I believe Antonio Brown is one of those type talents that can get the ball from any quarterback because he can run any route on the route chart. He can run can run the short routes. He can run the medium routes. He can run the long route, the corners, the post corners, you know, the slants, the digs, you know, the out routes, combat. He can run all of those. He's not one of those wide receivers as like a Kelvin Benjamin who's really like a one-trick pony. You know, I'm either going to run the go route or maybe I can run the deep post if I can get in front of my defender. You know, he's one of those guys. So I think he stays on the roster. I don't think the Steelers are that stupid to lose him and Le'Veon and could possibly be losing Big Ben to retirement if he keeps doing what he's doing, you know. So, no, I think Le'Veon is gone. They already moved him off the depth chart. But I think Antonio Brown, he stays.
So the Steelers might want Antonio Brown to stay. Big Ben might want Antonio Brown to stay. The whole the head coach might want Antonio Brown to stay. But if Antonio Brown is upset, we've seen it like with the Bills cornerback on Sunday at halftime. He can retire anytime he wants to. He can take off those pads middle of the halftime and say, "Bye guys, I'm done." So, will Antonio Brown do that? If Le'Veon Bell is not back by week 11, could possibly see Antonio Brown doing something like that.
No, I can't see him doing that because I think Antonio Brown is he's a gamer. You know,
I agree with that 100%.
He loves to play football, and you know the thing is, you know, the reason why I don't believe that he would do something like that because when he was going through his contract situations, instead of holding out, you know, which I don't, you know, blame any player for holding out. Go get your money because you know you have to feed your family. You know, when this is all said and done, when you're done playing football. So unless you're a rookie, holding out to me, you know, that's on you, you know, especially established players. But when he was going through his contract situation, he didn't hold out. He showed up to training camp. He showed up to play every single game. So I couldn't see him doing that just based on somebody else because he still has to feed his family. You know, is him and Le'Veon close? Yeah, and I think he's already showed enough support for Le'Veon publicly. So, you know, he already knew what was going to go down from the start of the season. Le'Veon probably had already made up his mind that, hey, I'm not going to show up until I absolutely have to, and that's only so I can become a free agent in the offseason. I think he had already prepared himself for that, and so did Antonio Brown.
So you say that Antonio Brown and Bell are really close, and I do not dispute that. that opinion one bit. But do you think maybe Antonio Brown is kind of shown this spat, kind of shown like, hey, I need you here, and do you think that will bring Le'Veon Bell to the team faster? Like, do you think this little spat is kind of like a organized spat on the Steelers and Antonio Brown's part to get Le'Veon Bell to come to the team a little bit faster?
Oh, no, I think this is all real. I mean,
Okay.
you think about it, Antonio Brown is a 100-catch-year guy, and the way that it's going right now, it don't look like he's going to be on that pace right now to maintain where he's at every single year, 100-plus catches, not just 100 catches. Antonio Brown is normally always 100-plus catches.
Right.
So, and he wasn't even the leading receiver in that game on Sunday. James was, with 5 catches, 138 yards. So, no, I think this is real between, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. The thing is, to answer your other question, no, it won't bring Le'Veon Bell back faster, because what would it prove? Like I said earlier, the Steelers already removed him from the depth chart after week 1. He's not even on the depth chart, So Antonio Brown, in 2 games, he got 18 receptions for 160 yards, only 1 score. That's why he's frustrated. He's legitimately frustrated because he feels he's not getting the ball in the spots where he needs to get them.
Oh, he's
Le'Veon
not.
is already done. Yeah, Le'Veon is already done. They did have him on the depth chart with an asterisk beside his name. Now he's completely off the depth chart. So him coming back early, what is that going to prove? The damage has already been done. When he didn't show up for week 1, that told the Steelers everything they need to know, and they was already moving forward with James Conner.
Well, this kind of segues into my next question. After week 2 of the NFL season, who do you think is the worst team in the NFL right now? Give me your bottom 5 teams.
Oh, it's easily the Buffalo Bills, the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to have to throw the Oakland Raiders in there because they just been an atrocity.
They look horrible.
Yes, just absolutely horrible. I'm going to go Detroit, Seattle, and Arizona. I decided to leave the Giants out of there because I thought about putting the Giants. There's a few other teams I could have put in there, like the Texans. I could have put them in there. Cleveland, but Cleveland is not doing as bad. We make the kicks, we're 2-0 instead of 0-1-1.
Exactly.
So, I want to put the Giants in there, but I think the Giants, what they have, can get fixed because they have Odell. So, and there's no shame in losing to the Cowboys, who is actually a really good team, and to lose to, a team that made it to the AFC Championship last year and probably could have beat the Patriots had it wouldn't been for a couple calls one way or the other. So that's why I left the Giants out there. But those other teams that I named, those are atrocities, leading out with the Buffalo Bills. They have been a utterly disaster coming into this year.
Yeah, the Bills are by far the worst team in the NFL right now. Watching that Seattle Bears game last night, Seattle showed some signs of life, but they are horrible. I don't know what it is. Ever since they went to that Super Bowl and they lost to the Patriots, they're just a horrible team, and I can't wrap my mind of why they are.
I can tell you why, Mike.
Tell me why.
I was listening to Cowherd yesterday, right? And I love Colin Cowherd.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorite, but he said something yesterday that just couldn't have been more fall-based. And I tweeted about it. He said the only reason why people knew about Richard Sherman and Bobby Wagner and, Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor, the crew that they had, was because of Russell Wilson and because they self-promoted. And, I'm sitting there thinking, how could he say that Russell Wilson is the only reason why people knew these guys? When these guys had the number 1 defense, the total defense, the number 1 defense as far as takeaways, they was the number 1 scoring defense. Also, they had the number 1 rushing attack. I've never seen any year since Russell Wilson has been there where they had the number one passing attack. Not once in his career has he had the best passing attack. So that's why, because when you don't have a good defense and a good running game to fall on, and now you're thrown in the fire and you are asked to do what a franchise quarterback's supposed to do, Russell Wilson is not that guy. He's I'm going to extend the play. I'm going to make some spectacular plays with my feet. I'm going to make a few good throws with my arm, because Russell Wilson has a cannon. He can throw it. He's a baseball player.
Yeah.
But he's not that good of a quarterback, if you ask me. And he's never been that good of a quarterback. And I've been saying that since they won that first Super Bowl over the Denver Broncos. That defense let them win that first Super Bowl over Peyton Manning and the Broncos. So to start off the game, it was a fumble and a safety or something like that. And then they pick off Peyton Manning and run it back to the house. Demarius Thomas and Decker and all those boys, they were scared to catch the ball on that defense. Yeah. Russell Wilson never really had to do anything but not mess it up. I'm going to hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. He's going to get me 5 or 6 yards on first down. He's going to get me these key first downs when I need them. I know my defense is going to get a turnover and put us in good field position. So it makes Russell Wilson look good, because he's the face of the franchise. He's the quarterback. And we always want to get a quarterback all of the credit.
You're right.
When he doesn't deserve any of that credit. And since all of those guys have been leaving, the Seahawks has been a mediocre team at best.
Yeah.
And it's showing again that Russell Wilson cannot carry a team, and he won't carry a team.
And those are all excellent points, and I couldn't have said it any better myself. But just to carry on with my bottom five list here, and since this is week 2, we're going to be overreacting and kind of predicting it. So I got the Bills and the Seahawks, the Oakland, just simply because they had so much hype coming into the season with John Gruden coming back. We're going to Super Bowl, and they've been so good, and they look horrible. And I got to put the Green Bay Packers on there if Aaron Rodgers does not play. There have been reports starting to surface that Aaron Rodgers may not play this week because he needs to rest it. He needs to rest that knee and let it heal. If Aaron Rodgers is not playing on that Green Bay Packers team, they are the worst team in the NFL, hands down. And then I got to go with the Jets. I know the Jets won week 1, but the Lions are just as bad as they are. But I foresee the Lions doing better than the Jets at the end. So that's why I got to put the Jets in the bottom 5.
You know what? I actually pretty much agree with that Jets pick. I came on here after week 1 and said, hey, pump your brakes.
Yep.
Donald had a decent game, but he was the victim of what I just said, about Russell Wilson. He had the Lions had 17 points total in week 1 when they played the Jets. The Jets had 3 non-offensive touchdowns. They had 2 interception returns for a touchdown, and they had a punt return for a touchdown. Right. So when you get that much help, it's really not that hard to be good in the NFL. He was a first round pick, so it's not like he's trash and he's not supposed to do these things. And I think that's where people get it, messed up, that they say stuff about these guys as if they're not professionals and they're not supposed to do that anyway.
Yeah.
He throws the interception. He's supposed to come back. That's what he's supposed to do. If your defense gives you 2 interception returns, 4 turnovers total, you get a punt return for a touchdown, your running back gives you 2 touchdowns plus 100 yards on the ground, you're a first-round pick. You're supposed to win that game. You're not supposed to lose that game. That's the Browns' way of doing things. So it's like they give people too much credit for doing simple things, stuff that they're supposed to be doing. So I'm right there with you. I don't think that the Jets is all that good. I think their defense is big time, but at quarterback and receiver and running back and tight end, the whole offense, they got to get that figured out if they want to be considered, the top.
Yeah, and like I said, now the opposite side of that, the best teams in the NFL, my top 5 after week 2 right now, it's got to be the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the best team in the NFL right now. They have the offense that cannot and will not be stopped. Then you got to go with who am I thinking here? I had it written down here, but I got to go with the Eagles because Carson Wentz is coming back this week. They're going to be a totally different offensive team. They're going to start firing on all cylinders, and they're not going to be stopped. Patriots, as always, with the addition of Josh Gordon, they're going to be much improved. Week 3 is going to be rough. Week 4 is going to be their time to start rolling and time to shine. And then the Rams. Rams defense is just, they're going to be a great defense, and defense wins championships. It's simple as that.
I kind of agree with some of your list. I don't like the Patriots. I don't like the Eagles pick because I'm one of those guys. I'm not on the Carson Wentz train. Yeah, he had a better week, a better year or two than his first year, and that's what you want to see in a quarterback or any player in particular. You want to see that growth. But I'm not so sure that he's as good as as advertised. I think that's more on Doug Peterson. And that says a lot. Although Nick Foles has been in the NFL, he's been around, he's been on a few teams. Mm-hmm. But when Nick Foles can come in and look like, who is Carson Wentz? Like, he made the Eagles fans forget about who is Carson Wentz.
Yep.
So to me, Carson Wentz he's an okay quarterback. He's not a terrible quarterback. I'll put him right there in that tier 2. I just don't think he's going to be a guy that be able to lead a team. I'm just not sure on that. But my list, I got the Rams as the best team over the Chiefs because to me, when you can play, when you have an offense, and the Chiefs' offense is better than the Rams right now, but where I would give the Rams the best team overall is they got a defense as well. Right. They are creating turnovers left and right with those corners, and it wasn't even Peters or Talib the other day. Sam Shields, they are loaded on the defensive side of the ball. So right now, I'm gonna go Rams, then I'm gonna go Chiefs, then I'm gonna go Jacksonville, and then I'm gonna go the Patriots, and surprise, I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay as the 5th best team as of right now, week 2 in the NFL. I like what they're doing down there in Tampa. Jameis Winston may not get his job back, especially if Fitzpatrick come out this next week and have he don't even have to throw for 400 yards like he did in the first 2 weeks. If he can get about 250 and 2 touchdowns, as long as he keeps the turnover to a minimum, I don't think Jameis Winston get that job back. So I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 5th best team in the NFL.
Yeah, and I was toying with like them in that 5th to 4th rate seed, but with the addition of Josh Gordon to the Patriots, yes, we should have been I should have been looking at just week 1 and week 2. The Patriots are probably not a top 5 team if you just base off those week 1 and week 2. And then I would definitely have to jump up the Buccaneers. So that's kind of me looking forward, being optimistic, thinking that Josh Gordon is going to really turn the Patriots around, which I do.
I think he will turn them around, though. I think he will turn them around. Yeah, it's going to be – their passing attack is going to be out of this world now because now Tom Brady can go down the field. And a lot of people don't realize that Tom Brady can actually throw the ball down the field. He just really never had a receiver that can go get it, So, they fit the offense around, and he's getting older. You don't really need him throwing the ball, down the field 6, 7, 8 times a game, But I think he will help big time. But let me tell you a sleeper team, though, Mike.
Let's hear it.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Yep. Listen, they could be really dangerous, especially with the Browns being the way they are, the Ravens being as bad as I think that they're going to be. And the Steelers, who knows what's going on with them. So, watch out for the Cincinnati Bengals in that division. Who knows they're going to win a playoff game because, Andy Dalton is 0-4 in playoffs. And Marvin Lewis should already been fired. But the Cincinnati Bengals, I believe, is really going to, make some noise this year.
Yeah, they are a type of team that you do not want to let them in. Like, if you let them in, they might be that team to be a 5 or 6 team, or say they win the division and they're a 4 seed, and they play the Patriots in the second round. They might knock the Patriots off. They just might do it.
It's a possibility. It just all to me. I think the Patriots' success right now, and it's going to sound crazy, the Patriots' success right now depends on Josh Gordon. How much of a cancer he is, or how much of a healer he is. If he comes in and do everything right, the Patriots are going to be unstoppable. But if he can't get it together, that could cause some things and maybe be cut. But that could definitely cause some frustrations down there in Foxborough.
And I definitely have to agree with you on that, because if Josh Gordon plays the way that he has played before, and he's opened up the field, and he opened up the, they're lighting up the scoreboard. They're scoring 20, 30 points a half. That puts less pressure on that defense, and like when a defense is allowed to play freely, a bend don't break, they become great. So, I mean, yeah, Josh Gordon is definitely going to be the X factor of the whole year, of the whole NFL. So, like, if Josh Gordon does well, Patriots win the Super Bowl. If Josh Gordon does bad, Patriots lose playoff game first round.
I definitely agree.
Well, Billy, as always, bud, thanks you for joining us on the RTF Sports Talk. If you guys have not yet, go follow Billy on Twitter. His Twitter handle is in the description below. But Billy, for those people that are listening on Google Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and let them know what your Twitter handler is.
It's Grand Jefe, GRANXJEFE, all one word.
And Billy is pretty active on the Twitter machine. And if you guys haven't yet, go ahead and follow his podcast as well, Unpopular Opinion. It's on every podcast you can think of, or podcast, what the word I'm looking for, streaming, whatever. The word I'm looking for.
I know what you're saying. I can't get it right now either myself.
It is out there. Search for it. Unpopular Opinion. He has a nice new logo. It's red and black. It has the hair on it. If you guys don't know what the hair is, look up Sideshow Bob of The Simpsons, and it's there. But, Billy, our picks suck, man. By the way.
Yeah. It seems like every week, man. This has been an interesting football year, college and pro. I did a little better in college football last week, so I'm looking to move that up to the NFL. That's why I hate picking games, Mike, because it seems like every time I pick a team that I know should win, It's like they're like, yeah, I know Billy picked me, so you know what? We're gonna lose today, and that's how it always works.
When we make our picks on Sunday, Billy, I'm going to have a tie. Because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Got to, man. You got to. This has got to change NFL. NFL, if you're listening, I know you're not, but one day you will.
One day you will.
This tie stuff has got to stop, man. Like, nobody wants to see that in a professional game when I'm going to pay $200 for some tickets. Like, I don't want to see a tie. I do not want to see a tie. I believe they'll get it together, though, along with the quarterback rule, the roughing the passer rule.
That's a story for another day. That's a ridiculous call. But as always, guys, thanks for joining us. Join us on Thursday at 9:45 a.m. on the East Coast. RTF Sports Talk. We're out.